It built an amazing automation, a really powerful engine, one that just hums along perfectly. But then you watch someone non-technical try to use it,
Yeah.
and they just kind of stare at it, bewildered, like a complex spaceship cockpit, designed for engineers, not the everyday crew. Today, we're going to build that intuitive control panel. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into a powerful secret for anyone who builds automations: how to give your brilliant n8n workflows a truly user-friendly face. It's about more than just looking nice. It's making it accessible.
Exactly. We're tackling what I often call the last mile problem of automation. You've got this incredible workflow, right? Super powerful. But if that final interaction, the human part, isn't smooth, well, a lot of that power just gets lost. Imagine turning those complex multi-node things into elegant, simple web apps. So easy, even your CEO could click around and, actually enjoy using it. It's all about creating that bridge, really, between human input and machine precision.
So our mission today is to demystify this whole process for you. We'll peel back the layers on the kind of magical wait node. We'll look at the basics of crafting a simple web interface, with HTML and JavaScript. Then we'll dissect the anatomy of an interactive workflow. And finally, equip you with some pro-level tips to make your apps, well, bulletproof.
Yeah, get ready for some aha moments, hopefully. Because this isn't just about the technical steps. It's really about fundamentally transforming how you approach automation. It's thinking about designing for people.
Okay, so let's unpack this challenge first.
Yeah.
It's pretty common, right? You've put in the weeks, built this incredible n8n workflow. Maybe it pulls data, does processing, sends notifications. It hums along perfectly in its own digital world. But then someone else needs to use it, a colleague, maybe a client. They need to trigger it or feed it some specific data. And they open n8n, look at all those nodes and connections, and it just looks like, well, something out of a sci-fi movie. They struggle. They don't know where to put their data. It's just overwhelming.
You've hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly the last mile problem. It's like having this amazing high-performance engine, but the car has no steering wheel or pedals. If nobody knows how to drive it, what good is all that power? This is where custom user interfaces are, well, absolutely essential. They take those powerful, sometimes complex workflows and hide all that complexity behind a simple, professional web app.
And what's the real tangible impact of doing that? Why should someone listening invest the time?
Oh, the payoffs are immediate, and they're significant. You get dramatically easier sharing, for one. No more needing to explain n8n itself. You'll see a huge drop in user errors because the interface guides them. It tells them exactly what's needed. And maybe most importantly, you'll get much higher adoption rates. People want to use tools that are easy, that feel intuitive, that just work. It really transforms your automation from just a developer tool into, well, a product people can use.
Right. So the core value is accessibility and reducing that user friction, making complex stuff simple to interact with. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, this sort of magic behind this bridge between the human and the machine. It's often misunderstood, I think. The wait node. I kind of think of it like the most patient friend you've ever had, just happy to pause and wait for you.
That's a perfect analogy. It really is the secret sauce for interactive automation. It's the node that lets your workflow pause. Could be seconds, could be hours, maybe even days if you need it to. Just waiting for some external information, some signal before it continues. It's the red light in our red light, green light pattern for these interactive apps. And the key thing, it's just one click, but it changes everything, is setting resume from at a specific time to on webhook call. That single change turns it into this smart listening ear. And a little pro tip, maybe from future you, always give your wait node a clear name in the notes. Something like wait for user input is so much better for your future self or maybe a teammate than just wait one.
Okay, so this patient node sits there listening. How does it actually hear the input coming from our custom web page?
It's all done through a specific HTTP POST request. Your custom UI, your web page, sends the data to a unique webhook path that's tied to that specific wait node. Something like webhook waitus or input, for example.
Yeah.
Think of it like sending a specific message down a dedicated phone line.
And when that message gets sent, what does the user see? Do they just wait in silence?
Oh, no, not at all. You configure the response settings right there in n8n. It sends an instant JSON confirmation message straight back to the client, to the web browser. It basically tells your web interface, yep, got the data, like an immediate message sent tick.
That's good for just confirming receipt. But what if we want something more dynamic for like multi-step applications? How do we guide the user's next step?
Ah, yes. This is where it gets really powerful. Instead of just sending back a static success message, your respond to webhook node can actually send back data that the workflow itself generated. Imagine this. The wait node gets the form data. The very next node in n8n could maybe create a unique resume for that specific session, or it could figure out a next step command based on what the user entered. So the response back to your front end could be like, status, success, resume, https://your.app.continue at abc123iyz, next step.upload file. Whoa. I mean, think about the kinds of complex, multi-step, really dynamic apps you could build this way. It's basically telling your UI, okay, success, and here's exactly what to do next, and here's the link to continue this specific interaction.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly powerful feedback loop.
Wow, so dynamic responses from n8n let your UI intelligently guide the user step by step, almost like having a conversation. Okay, now for what I think is the really fun part, actually building the control panel itself. And you really don't need to be a design expert for this, right? Even basic knowledge goes a long way.
Absolutely not. For the structure, you just need a bit of basic HTML. That's your blueprint. A simple form, some input fields for the data, a submit button. That's it. It just defines what the user sees and interacts with. No need for fancy frameworks just to get started.
And then JavaScript. How does that act as the brains connecting the panel to the workflow?
Yeah, JavaScript is the dynamic part. It's the code that grabs all the data from those HTML form fields, it bundles it all up neatly like into a package, and then it sends it off using a fetch request to your n8n webhook URL. It's the orchestrator, you could say. It handles sending the data, listens for that response we just talked about, and then maybe updates the web page based on it. It's basically how your web app has that direct conversation with n8n, sending little data messages back and forth.
Got it. So JavaScript is the messenger, taking input from the simple HTML form and delivering it right to our n8n workflow. Now, when we think about these powerful interactive workflows, it can be helpful to see them maybe like a simple play with 3 acts. Understanding that structure seems really key to designing them effectively.
Yes, exactly. Having that clear mental model makes a huge difference. Think of it like this. Act Un is the setup. This is everything that happens before the user even lands on your custom UI page, or at least before they send their first bit of data. It's the workflow's trigger. Maybe a webhook node that gets the initial start signal from your web page loading. Or just a manual trigger if you're testing. This act might also include some initial data gathering, like maybe fetching the latest prices from a Google Sheet or pulling user details from your CRM, all before the user does anything. Then comes Act 2, the interaction. This is the real core of your interactive app. It's that back and forth conversation with the user, powered by that red light, green light pattern. The wait node is like the intermission here. The workflow runs up to it, then pauses gracefully, waiting for the user to make their move on the UI. Once they submit data, boom, the workflow resumes right after the wait node. And this is where you process that input. You use expressions like json.body.resumer or maybe json.body.priority. You can send that data to a ChatGPT node, maybe use a priority value in a switch node to go down different paths. This is where the workflow reacts to the human input. And finally, Act 3, the resolution. This is the non-interactive part, the wrap-up. It happens once the conversation with the user is done and all the final data is processed. The workflow continues its off-stage tasks, you could say. Maybe adding the processed data to a Google Sheet, creating a deal in HubSpot, sending a detailed Slack message to the team, generating a report. The user on the web page doesn't necessarily see these things happen, but they ensure the job gets finished completely and correctly.
That 3-act structure really clarifies things. But how does the workflow remember things across those pauses? Especially if you have multiple interactions, multiple wait nodes in a complex process.
That's the key to building stateful workflows. It's crucial. Before you hit a wait node, you use a set node. You use it to save important information, maybe that resume you generated, or the user's initial query, or an ID of something you created in Act-I into a workflow variable. That way, when the workflow wakes up again after the wait node, that variable, that data, is still right there, ready to be used in the next step. It's like leaving a sticky note for your future self, basically.
Okay, so the set node acts like the workflow's short-term memory, carrying key info across those interactive pauses. So let's say you've built a basic app. It works. Data flows. Great.
Okay.
But how do you level up? Go from that kind of quick demo feel to something truly professional, something you'd feel confident giving to clients or using for, critical business processes. This is the polishing phase, right? Turning the prototype into a robust Starship console.
Absolutely. First off, think about the safety net graceful error handling. Like a try.catch block in your JavaScript, it's like a safety net for a trapeze artist. Most of the time, everything's fine. 99% perfect. But for that 1% when something goes wrong, maybe the user's connection drops, maybe an API your workflow calls is down, the safety net catches it. It means the user sees a clear, friendly message, not just a broken page or a spinning wheel forever. It anticipates problems. Second, and this is huge for how users feel, master the psychology of waiting smart loading states. Users hate clicking a button and getting zero feedback. It feels broken. It's like asking a question and just getting silence. A simple processing message, maybe a little spinner icon, and disabling the button while you wait for n8n's response. It makes a massive difference. It tells them, okay, I heard you, I'm working on it, even if it takes a few seconds. Third is the bouncer at the door client-side validation. Why waste time and resources sending data all the way to your n8n server, maybe even running part of the workflow, just to find out a required field was empty or the email format was wrong? Validate that stuff instantly right there in the user's browser. It's like the bouncer checking IDs before people get inside and cause trouble. It gives immediate feedback and protects your workflow from bad data. And finally, this one is critical. The secret agent. Secure your webhooks, that n8n webhook URL. It's sensitive. It's the front door to your automation. You should never just paste it directly into your public HTML or JavaScript code. That's like putting the code to your safe on a sticky note on the front of the safe. Use environment variables instead. It's like keeping that secret code in a classified file that only your secure server can access. Keeps your sensitive URLs hidden from public view.
Okay, that's a great list. If you're building one of these for a client, something that's going to be public-facing, which of those is like the absolute most critical, the biggest risk if you get it wrong?
Oh, security, without a doubt. Using those environment variables for your webhooks, it's completely non-negotiable for anything you'd call a production application. Yeah. It's your first and maybe most important line of defense.
Got it. So protecting those webhook endpoints with environment variables is absolutely foundational for any serious deployment. So once you've nailed these fundamentals, where can you go next? What are some of the more advanced patterns or polishing techniques?
Yeah, that's when you can start building really sophisticated stuff. For advanced interactive patterns, think about dynamic form generation. I call it the smart form. Your n8n workflow can actually tell the UI what questions to ask next, based on what the user just entered. So if they select billing issue, maybe n8n sends back instructions to show fields for invoice number and date. It tailors the experience in real time. Very cool. Then there's real-time status updates, basically the Domino's pizza tracker for your workflow. If you have a longer running task, your UI can ping n8n every few seconds to get a progress update. Processing step 2 of 5 reassures the user things are moving along, and you can definitely use multiple wait points. This lets you build complex wizards like a choose-your-own-adventure for a process, guide users step by step, asking for input or decisions at each stage, turns complex flows into manageable journeys. And for just polishing the experience, look, you don't need to be a top designer. Simple CSS frameworks like, say, Tailwind or Bootstrap, they give you a professional look with pretty minimal effort. Then add some personality with micro-interactions, little things, a subtle button animation, a smooth transition when data loads. It's like the satisfying thunk when a quality car door closes. It just feels better. And seriously, mobile-first design, it's not optional anymore. Design for the small screen first, then make it work on desktops. Most people will probably hit this on their phone. Oh, and I always have a pre-flight checklist. Avoid the common gotchas. Watch out for course issues. That's your browser's security guard blocking requests. You need to tell n8n which domains are allowed to talk to it. Be mindful of webhook timeouts. Your wait nodes won't wait forever by default. Make sure the timeout is long enough for a real human to respond. Otherwise, your workflow just gives up, the impatient workflow. And oh man, data format mismatches, the lost in translation problem. Your JavaScript and your n8n workflow have to speak the exact same language, the same JSON structure. I still wrestle with those sometimes myself. They can be tricky. Always check the input and output tabs in n8n's execution logs when you're debugging this stuff.
It sounds like thinking about the user experience, the design, isn't just about making things look pretty. It actually forces you to improve the back-end logic, too. That's an unexpected benefit there.
It's a bit counterintuitive, yeah. But focusing on making it simple for the user forces you to ruthlessly simplify your own back-end process. You have to strip away the non-essential stuff. It's like a sculptor chipping away at marble. The best result often comes from removing things, not adding them. So you end up with not just a nice front end, but often a much cleaner, more robust workflow underneath.
So wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for you, the person listening, the automator, the builder? You're not just stringing nodes together anymore.
No. You've learned how to design the entire Starship experience, not just the engine room. It's about connecting that deep, complex automation power to the simple, intuitive needs of the actual users. You've basically shifted from building a developer tool to creating an easy-to-use app.
And the key takeaway, perhaps, is just to start simple. Don't try to build the Death Star on day one. Pick one workflow that delivers real value. Build its basic control panel. Get that data flowing.
Exactly. And here's the real secret, I think. Once you get this pattern down, this interactive approach, it fundamentally changes how you look at every new automation project. You'll automatically start thinking not just about the logic, but about the human on the other end. How will they experience this?
So what's the ultimate outcome? What happens when you master this skill?
You become that automation superhero, right? The one who doesn't just build powerful machines, but designs experiences that empower everyone, turning complexity into everyday magic.
That's it for this deep dive. We hope you feel really well informed and maybe, just maybe, a little inspired to go build your own automation superpower control panels.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Keep learning and keep building.